It's another week. It's another episode of We All Everybody. We are rewatching Lost Season 1, Episode 18 this week. Numbers, the very first Hurley episode. And boy, we got a good show for you tonight. Eric's back. Eric Z, welcome back, man. We tricked you into watching more Lost. How
Thank
do you
you
feel
guys.
about that?
This was my only day off in a month, and I spent it watching Lost
Good.
and not knowing a lot of the context that went into the episode. So I'm very unhappy. No, I'm joking. It was really fun. It was actually, I really enjoyed both episodes. I watched both of them, by the way.
Yeah, so I asked Eric specifically because you were, of course, our first guest on this podcast. You had to be first, and that was way back on episode 5, and now we're like 14 episodes later. You're back, and I said, the Koreans episode from last week is such a good two-hander with that episode 5, and I think it makes that episode a little bit better, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. I just loved getting some a little bit more story with those characters, because right now those are the main characters of Lost to me, as far as I'm concerned. The Korean couple.
Lost is a purely Korean drama.
Lost is a show about them, and everyone else is a background person.
You really would not have known about the boat had you not watched that episode before.
Yeah.
I feel
it's really, I'm really intertwined with their relationship, and I hope everything ends well for them. They seem like they're in love.
Well, we're not talking about that tonight, of course.
I'm sorry. I really wish that was my episode.
My co-host Shannon, I'll get right to my rationale here in a second. My co-host Shannon, another Lost lover, our good friend Paul, the third host, the Lost skeptic at this point, and me, we were saying that this episode was going to make or break Paul's enjoyment of Lost. So I am so interested to get to Paul's perspective, and then we're going to dive a little deeper as to why we gave Eric this episode, and then we'll get into it. You ready, Paul?
Yeah, I guess we'll do this.
You all, everybody! You all, everybody!
Previously on Lost.
Okay. That thing in the woods? Maybe it's a monster. Maybe it's a pissed off giraffe. I don't know. The fact that no one is even looking for us. Yeah, that's weird. But I just go along with it. So I'm along for the ride. Good old fun time Hurley.
It's like Paul wrote the lines.
Now, I want some friggin' answers.
I thought that was about reading.
Right there.
And make sure when you cut the
Momentum, Mama, just checking something out.
Paul, is that you?
You're not watching those G-string mujeres again.
Look, Ma, we talked about this.
Paul, is that your abuela in the back?
I respect my privacy. No, I'm not.
Okay.
What Mexican calls his mom Ma?
Ma!
Like a flippin' New York Italian.
They clearly live in the big island of Los Angeles.
Dude.
Clearly.
I bear my soul. I don't like his bloody jokes.
Every one of your stocks is
He was
up.
a real
Your
jerk in this
interest
episode.
in orange futures skyrocketed after those tropical storms hit Florida. And you are now
Hurley's big portfolio meeting.
for a
I got so many things to say about that character.
A box company?
Mm-hmm. They make boxes. Luke,
I thought about investing in boxes after this episode.
We're gonna need boxes.
They're way up.
I thought at one time they might be coordinates of some kind.
Coordinates, yeah.
This was the full episode.
The French chick.
Is this normal for this show? Y'all just listen to the audio of the episode?
It gets weirder and weirder.
And it led you to her?
No.
I
It
don't
led
know
me
this.
into a trap.
I don't like being on this
Place
show.
probably close, right? I could really use some alone time right now.
It's different than the other one we used to do.
Yeah.
He unzip his pants?
Sounds like he's unzipping his pants, yeah.
Ma!
I'm a big guy. I get dehydrated easy.
Ay, Dios mío, my
Wait, I
ankle,
gotta go.
mijo.
What do the numbers mean?
42, 43, 44, 45,
Oh, that guy.
You use those numbers to play the lottery?
You use those numbers to play the bean
Yeah.
game.
Hey,
That guy kept giving him exposition through all
You've
this
opened the
screaming.
box.
I what?
You shouldn't have used those numbers.
Why not?
Stop! You gotta get away from those numbers. You gotta get far,
All right,
far
hey,
away.
hey. Now it's over.
I thought for sure he was gonna have a robot read the numbers.
Maybe we're gonna get lucky. I don't think so.
No, that's it.
I
just
feel
took
like the robot voice has gone out the window the last couple of weeks. Lately, this one was all clips. Like
Robot voice.
So, Eric, in past episode, Paul's adopted a robotic voice for these things, and they caught us off guard the first few times. But now he's abandoned them completely. So when they come back, it's really going to catch us off our toes.
Can't wait.
Oh man! So this episode, the last episode you were on, Eric, that was the Koreans' first episode. You said how boring it was. I go, well, I gotta give Eric a good episode.
Well, now I almost changed my tune because when I got the second part of their story, I was like, thank God I saw that first episode.
Exactly. That was. I didn't even tell you to watch it until after we had done the episode, probably, or watched it ourselves. Like I didn't even. I thought, cause I knew that was their episode too. And I thought it was going to be a boring episode again. And instead, I loved it. I thought it was great. Almost
I
made
thought
me
it was
start crying
great.
at the end.
I was all into it. I'm like, every few weeks I sit down in my office and I watch these two Korean people and their father's gang, kingdom.
He's
I don't know
he's
what
a car. He's a car manufacturer, man. He's not.
He works at Kia, obviously.
He works at
He
a
works
Kia
at
dealership.
Kia and he beats up people and they give him dogs. I love all of it.
Did you
Can we talk about that episode?
Did you
Let's talk
real
about
quick, because you did watch the episode? Did you happen to see what was on TV in the dog scene?
Oh yeah, I saw Hurley on the TV. And
What did you think? What did you think of that? Because Paul had a lot of big theories about that.
I just laughed out loud. I didn't know what was going on.
It's funny.
They clearly cut back to the girl just so we could see that, and I was just like, "What is going on? What is this? How many of these bones do they give people that don't lead to anything?"
And
They
Paul,
cut
tell Eric what you thought immediately.
Huh?
Paul.
Oh.
Oh, I thought you said Alan. Tell Eric what you thought immediately. What did you think?
you tell Eric what you thought when you saw Hurley on that Korean TV.
Oh,
Last week, Paul.
why are we talking about last week's show? This is all broken at this point to me. I don't know what we're doing right now. The show just spun out of control.
It's
And
me.
Why?
I
This is why I shouldn't be a part of the show. I gotta go. I gotta hang up. This is wrong.
man.
This is all wrong. No.
Eric's
what do you-
first episode was the first Korean episode, so we had him watch Jin and Sun last week as well, leading into this.
And he got to see Hurley on the TV.
I saw him.
And last week you were all about that, Paul. So what did you think of that last week? And now, did you know why he was on TV? How do you feel about it now?
But why was he on TV in Korea?
Great
He won the
question.
lotto. He
Well,
won
wait
the
a second.
big
Hold
lotto,
on. Hold on.
Paul.
He's in the
Well-
U.S. though, right?
I completely agree with Paul. I don't
Well,
know if it was on TV.
That's what. Okay, so that was my thought about it because this was back to back. I saw the episode, so I saw Hurley there on the TV, and then when I saw why he could have possibly been on television or a fame for any amount of time, I thought, why? The local news was covering it. Why would international news cover some Mexican winning the lottery?
That makes no sense. Like, that's not why he was on TV in Korea. I don't believe that. If that's what it was,
Right?
this is the dumbest show I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Oh,
I fucking hate
Oh,
it.
oh my God!
Jesus.
Paul thought it was a Korean car commercial that Hurley was in.
Maybe
That
it
would
was.
make more sense than showing lottery winners from
Yeah.
the U.S.
To me,
Is that really what they did? I'm not
Also-
watching another episode.
Also,
And-
why was the little girl watching coverage on lottery winners from the U.S.? Why wasn't she watching some show for little Korean girls?
We don't know where we saw Hurley in this episode in the timeline and where we saw Jin in that house in in the timeline. So that
I
could have been Hurley might get on TV for another reason.
it has to
Okay.
be. He's
That's
not
what I
on
was
TV
thinking.
Well, look,
for
we're
winning the
gonna
lottery.
get to the bottom of this. We're gonna bring up Hurley on the TV real quick here. We're
We
gonna.
got Hurley.
We got Hurley on the TV. He's coming right up.
It could be maybe one of his factories that caught on fire. Maybe his shoe factory was in Korea.
They mentioned the shoe factory. What if his shoe factory burned down? They were showing this is the owner of the factory.
Yeah.
This monstrous man.
Lardo.
The show already
okay, all right.
Make
well,
a lot of sense without y'all mixing this weirdness up. That's obviously not why he was on TV in Korea. If he won the lottery in the
there he
US,
is on TV. He seems to be wearing a suit jacket. So maybe it is about how he owns
he's wearing
something.
a t-shirt.
He's getting into a black car though. Eric's leaving. He's got to go.
He's wearing it looks like he's just wearing a shirt. Oh,
Jin's shocked that Hurley's on the TV.
It's not It's not his Hummer. It doesn't look like his H2.
Yeah. He goes, "Why do you show your daughter these winners of the lottery in America?"
Maybe that's not what it's about, because if Hurley was like a rich business owner, like he is, as revealed in this episode, which I really forgot. I go, wow, forgot he was worth so much money. He would probably be pretty important in Korea if, like, say, he came to Korea for a visit. You know, here's Hurley-san.
Is he Jeff Bezos in this timeline? Because his factory burned down. And he didn't seem to care about the people who burned with it. Hurley, I think, is a bad guy. I'm gonna say it.
You're saying that right off the bat.
Yeah, I mean, clearly bad luck follows him wherever he goes. And then he was being kind of a dick when all the guys started following him out to make sure he didn't die. He was being pretty rude to them.
It's all about these numbers.
Now walk us through these, Paul. I know you have some thoughts.
Well, I mean,
so Hurley finds.
I don't understand the take that Hurley's a bad person. All right, he just had these numbers.
Last week you said Hurley was evil. What the hell?
You called him a demon based on the fact that he was on a Korean TV.
Well,
he let his workers die and probably didn't compensate their families whatsoever.
You don't know that. You don't know he didn't. He seemed to be shocked that his workers were dead.
And it's Canada. I think Canada, you're probably getting a payout.
I think Hurley's a victim of circumstance, and if he is evil, that's just circumstance. These numbers ruined his life, just like they did everybody else that got those numbers. But it's still like, y'all said earlier, this would be the show that makes or breaks it for me. It's broken. Like,
oh, no.
this show
broken.
Is just damaged goods. Like the numbers is just another random external source that pushed Hurley character into the island. Like we had something similar to this with Claire and that psychic, right? Just random externalness from outside.
I don't know that reference.
Well, yeah.
You're a big numerology guy, though. I thought this would be your jam.
But this feels like it's numerology. You seemed very excited about him last night, and then something has flipped in you today. I don't know what could have been.
Some kind of dream or something.
Sorry, the numbers for the inflation came out today. It's also the 13th. All the numbers are bad around this. All the numbers are bad.
It is the 13th. I've had a weird day.
It's the numbers surrounding this is just not good. I mean, if we look at put up the sequence again. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the numbers.
Hold on.
We have 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42. 23 is prime.
You got to memorize for somebody who's not a fan.
Someone who hates these numbers.
When you look at those numbers, I want to go around the table here, starting with Eric. What do you feel when you see this sequence of numbers? What does it make you feel?
It makes me feel a little at ease because the numbers gradually go up. You know, they're not so out of sequence that it's like anxiety inducing. It's a little relaxing, if I'm going to be honest.
Okay, I'll tell you why you're wrong in a little bit. Alan, how do you feel?
Also, real quick, 42 is famously the secret to the entire universe, right? That's the answer.
That is, the answer to everything is 42.
I think that's a little reference there.
23 was Michael Jordan's basketball number, the Dunkmeister. Nothing wrong with that. 16.
So how does it make you feel, Shannon? These numbers,
Paul. I wish I could give you an unbiased view on these numbers, but I've Googled these numbers 1,000 times if I've Googled them once because of the show. So I'll just say that I don't have an. I've looked into every possible meaning of these.
I mean, I look at these numbers and I see a whole story. I see a battle. I see a war. What's going on?
What is going on?
Is that Dr. Numbers?
Don't pay attention to anything that just happened.
All I'm saying is these numbers, to me, they tell a story.
Tell me the story.
What do you mean by that? What do you? It seems like you love the numbers now. All of a sudden,
I see a battle. Right, 23 is obviously a dragon, and 42
obviously
42 is the knight defending, keeping the dragon in check. But you see, it's 4 and 2, right? It's descending. It's not all increasing. At the very end there, that last number, if you separate them, it's decreasing.
Well, now I am.
And so like 42 is like the dying knight fighting the dragon, 23. And I think 23 has somehow turned 15 on its side. And it's fighting 4 and 8. And so it's just 16 and 42 that's dying, trying to keep the dragon 23 in sequence.
Is this off the dome or did you write this down? Because this is bananas.
Paul, are you a writer for Lost? Because you would fit right in there in that room, in that writer's room.
That's my whole point. It doesn't matter at this point. They're making up anything,
Paul.
to make up anything. It's
fine. You've
It's
been on
fine.
somethingawful.com in 2005 to peel out the dragon and the knight scenario of these numbers.
Where is Hurley? Is Hurley in? I'm assuming Hurley's in California.
I was thinking Los Angeles, but I mean, his house looks like it's in the middle of fucking Hawaii. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, because that would make sense for them flying back and everything. I don't know a lot of people that work at the chicken restaurant and go, I'm taking a big old bucket home.
I mean,
He's a
Hurley
big
looks
guy.
like the kind of guy.
But you gotta get sick of that chicken, right?
We've known the type of guy
Oh,
who take a
man.
big bucket of that chicken home every night. No matter
I
what.
mean, you think you're sick of it, and then you smell that oil.
Did you guys laugh harder when his mom broke her ankle or when Grandpa Tito died?
Well, for me, I've never forgotten about my uncle. Like for 20 years, it's been running laps in my brain. So I did laugh more.
I think it was funnier when she hurt her ankle. Yeah.
Yes,
And he's so excited to show her the house. I felt so bad for him.
like. Would you in that scenario? Would you blind? You wouldn't blindfold because it doesn't make sense. You're just going to lead to an ankle break.
Yeah.
His
Also-
brother's wife runs off with another woman, and his mom does not like that.
No.
I don't know about y'all, but when Hurley gets angry, it doesn't really convince me that he's angry. Like he doesn't.
You know what? On that note, Hurley, I don't know if I love the actor. I think that might be controversial in the Lost-averse. But his dudes,
You
I
don't
don't
like
believe.
this guy?
I love Uncle Tito. Are you kidding? Or Grandpa Tito? I'm sorry.
He should be on the island.
He's worked
That's
3 jobs.
That looks like a hardworking man who knows family values. His grandson, Hurley, is that his name? What's his name?
Hugo.
Hugo.
Why do they call him Hurley if his name's Hugo?
We don't know that yet.
You'll have to watch.
You can tell he's not proud of his grandson.
He takes the chicken home every night.
Because his skin is too light.
He doesn't know a hard day's work. And only me and Eric and Paul can do the voice. Shannon, don't you even?
Yeah, Shannon, don't you fucking dare, man. I watched The Problem with Apu last night.
He took notes.
I just watched it.
I'm just saying, I watched Space Jam 2. Where was Speedy Gonzalez?
He was there, and he was voiced by a Mexicano.
He wasn't talking enough.
Yeah, you're right. He didn't.
He didn't talk enough. He should have been voiced by the guy who plays Hurley.
Now, you guys, how much do you guys know about the Lotto curse? Because I mean, this is a thing. This is a pretty common thing.
Well,
Is it a thing?
They talked about it in the episode.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, I mean, a lot of people that have won the lottery have had tragedy befall them.
That's a real superstition. I didn't know about that.
Yep.
Well, I think it just falls into you get that kind of money, you're going to attract different people around
That
you.
was the first thing I saw him on the news, broadcasting that he had won. And I was like, that isn't the last thing I would do. I would never tell anyone that I won.
Yeah, right. That's all.
I wouldn't tell Sarah. I wouldn't tell anyone.
The move is like you incorporate or something. Basically, you claim the lottery ticket via some sort of shell company, so it's never actually connected to your name. If I remember correctly, reading about that.
Some lotto tips there for you.
Hot lotto gas.
I wonder how many people tried these numbers on the lottery.
I
for
bet
fun.
hundreds of thousands of people.
Oh boy!
And all their mamacitas took a tumble and broke their ankles.
That was his mom. It's his mommy.
Do you guys remember H2s?
Oh yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger drove them, right?
They were around for a while. These Hummers.
Oh yeah, I mean those are. I remember Hummers.
They are in LA. It says LA Team Realtors right there on the sign. I can see it. Now the house is not on fire currently. When Hurley turns around, it's a raging inferno.
Hurley's pretty chill, right? Like he's not there's no stress in this character, really.
Well, his accountant tells him that 8 men died at his factory. He does not bat an eye. So
yeah, he didn't care. He's evil.
Now, Paul, what do you make of the fact that Hurley uses the numbers to gain wealth and it causes him great harm? Is that common numerology?
I mean, I don't think Hurley knew what he was doing, right? If those numbers were that powerful, he had no idea, right? But I don't. So I barely understood the lady in Australia. I couldn't understand what she was saying. Her accent was so strong. Did she explain where those numbers came from, or it was just somebody had them, right?
Yeah, they were in the military, right? And they heard it through static at a radio post or something like
that.
Okay,
Eric heard it loud and clear.
Thank you, Eric, for watching the show.
Yeah, of course, no problem, guys.
So
my first day off in weeks. Here I am. Watching us out of order.
I don't want to see your haggard expression for this.
All I can say, guys, is this show just adds another item to the list. There's a number now, or a sequence. 8,
hey,
4, 8, 15.
Oh wait, y'all probably have you probably have an order you want to do these things in, huh?
What are you talking about? No, go.
What you got?
I wanted to jump ahead to a different thing. When John Locke was helping that pretty pregnant lady out by giving her a task, making her feel like she was useful, he was building a cradle for her baby that is to come, and she didn't see that whole time that he was clearly building a cradle. It wasn't upside down the whole time when he was
cage. I thought it was a cage.
It did look like a cage when it was, but he didn't build the whole thing upside down, I would assume.
Unless he did to try and trick her to throw her off the set.
What was he do? What's his game with her? That was creepy.
It looks almost like a chair. I mean, maybe he's using that as his bench.
So Paul's pretty sure he's recruiting people for the war, right, Paul?
I mean, who knows, right? It could be anything can happen. Now there's all I was going to say. There's a sequence that's it's on that stupid capsule or whatever.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
It's called a hatch, Paul.
I remember the hatch.
Freaking hatch. And then the French lady knew the number. It was coming from the radio. They heard it overseas. There's a number, a sequence of numbers that's important somehow. That's all you get from this episode. Hurley is still not a major player in anything. I mean,
how much? I want to bet that the numbers lead to absolutely nothing.
Well,
that's what I bet.
I was talking to my wife about it. We were watching it, and I could not pinpoint where the numbers actually led. I do know that they're important for several different.
One thing I can say, and this is not going to break Paul's promise in any way, and it might be of interest to Eric too. This is not the first time we've even heard about the numbers. Not even connection to Rousseau. Paul, these numbers have been in multiple episodes prior to this, whether or not you've seen them.
We're gonna get.
Okay, well, go ahead and explain because I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So listen, I was gonna save this for some awful takes, but I mean, we could just bust it out right now. The guys on Something Awful broke it down for us way back in 2005. So here's all the numbers, Paul, and the connections through the show. Number 4, number of years Locke was in his wheelchair. Number of guns in the marshal's case. Number of aces on Boone's t-shirt.
Okay, this is incredibly dumb.
Number of years since Hurley's grandfather got his pacemaker. Number of years since Sam Toomey killed himself. There's too many. 8. Number of months Claire was pregnant when they crashed. Number of
That's
kilometers
pretty
the
standard
hitman.
pregnancy months, 8 to 9 months. It's pretty normal.
Number of kilometers the hitman tells Jin to drive. Number of people that die in Hurley's shoe factory fire. Number of years Michael's been writing Walt. That's like
Oh my God, who is that?
number of weeks Drive Shaft was going on tour. Number 15, number of members on Danielle's research team. The hours Boone flew to rescue his sister.
Boone?
16.
Who's Boone?
Weeks since someone won the lottery before Hurley. Number of years since Sam and Lenny heard the numbers. Jack and Kate and Charlie found the pilot 16 hours after the crash. The age of patient of Jack's first solo procedure. And number 23, Jack's seat number was 23A. The reward for turning in Kate was $23,000. 42.
There's less and less of them as you go on.
The number of spaces on a Connect 4 board.
No.
And then 815, their flight was 815, Paul, and that was also Kate's safety deposit box and the copier that Charlie sold.
Wow.
That one guy in March 5th of 2005 compiling that for us.
I mean, somebody had to do it. Somebody had to be that crazy and do
And
it.
what if I told you, Paul, they never stopped compiling these lists until the show ended 5 years
Hey,
later.
that's such a waste of.
And what did they get out of it?
They got to storm the Capitol on January 6th.
Yes, they did. They finally had a
They
real.
almost got away with it if it wasn't for that meddling Pence.
I bet a lot of Q people were Lost fans because, like, you know, that whole like they're trying to put it together, the puzzle. Like,
Oh,
people,
yeah.
people need something like that to keep them busy, which is why Q is so popular, right?
Lost. They played that that alternate reality game for Cloverfield. It's all these psychos that I was friends with.
It's all these same nerds in their basement.
They all did the Joker's ARG for the Dark Knight.
These incels who relate to the Riddler too much.
I hate to disagree with Mamacita, but there's 3 Catholics here or previous Catholics, 2 Catholic school students. There's a lot of curses in the Bible. Like she says we don't believe in curses. They straight up say the word curse multiple times in the Bible.
Well,
I think she meant superstitious, like with numbers. Like that's not anything. But
there is some major numerology in the Bible as well.
Jesus was 33.
That was the flight that Jack was on.
The threes fought each other to take on the dragon.
It's not like it is with that Practical Witch video I sent earlier. That's not how it is in the church.
Practical Witch.
Eric, oh God! What if I told you, Eric, that boat that they're building burnt down the last? Well, you saw it. How did it get built so fast again?
He had help. He had help from his.
He's got strong Korean labor now to just work all day and all night long.
I saw the boat episode.
I know all about the boat.
I got 2 things I want to bring up. One, can I get a shot of Hurley just flopping out of the way of that thing? Because that's gold.
He's very funny. He goes, "I'm spry."
I like that. I mean, he clearly doesn't think he can die, right? That's what we're supposed to believe, is that he thinks he's invincible and everyone around him will be hurt, but not him.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. That's almost like, because imagine how he would feel right after the plane crash. He goes, "Oh boy, I should not have come here for this."
Well, she even tells him when she shows him the leg, what happened to him. Oh, not a scratch. He was thrown clean of the crash.
Yeah, but remember, the island gives you what you want, and he doesn't want to be the bad luck aura of anywhere. So, like, remember when they're crossing the bridge? He crosses the bridge, and he looks concerned of the people following him.
Sure,
but they don't fall to their deaths.
But he knows he won't be hurt, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he won't be hurt, but I think the island's also given him, what he wants, to not be the bad luck jinx.
Those are pretty clean sticks for a dirty jungle. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, they do look pretty good. Huh?
And that box factory that he owns.
It's got to be Locke's box factory, right? Locke also works at a box factory, Eric, in case you didn't know that.
He works at a box factory?
Yes.
Right.
I thought he's supposed to be one of the
accounts?
most interesting characters.
He is.
Did he die? Is he connected to that fire?
The fire was at the sneaker factory.
Oh, I thought that was the box factory.
And let's just say Locke doesn't need a sneaker factory, so to speak.
Well, maybe he was working at the sneaker factory. Maybe picked up some shifts at the
I would like to
early
talk
sneaker
about
factory.
Hurley's accountant, aka Mort from Family Guy. Because this guy comes in, he lays out all the spiel about the money. Hurley's not phased. He makes a very funny face, making funny faces throughout. I thought he was great. I thought every character in this episode was great. Him, the Australian woman, the crazy guy.
love that there was this, and again, watching 17 and 18 back to back, 17 had this very dramatic kind of overall feel to it. This episode was very comedic. Like anything revolving around Hurley, no matter how serious it is dumb and goofy because he's a big fat guy, I guess. I don't know. I didn't appreciate that. That's, I mean, his story is pretty serious too, you know, like why not play more serious music?
Yeah, the music wasn't very serious. You're right.
They
The music was like,
started out. Jin and Soon is real serious. Kate's real serious. Wildman is especially serious. They're all
He's
serious.
getting- You want
They
now,
need
Shannon?
comic
You
relief.
asked for this. You wanted.
Speaking of Wild Man, anybody catch what Wild Man was reading in his book club this week?
No.
What was he reading?
A Wrinkle in Time.
a
Wild
failed-
Man's books, usually when he's reading a book, it sometimes corresponds to what's happening in the episode. So
You know, there might as
Of
well
course
be
it does.
time travel in this bullshit. You know, this is, you know what the show is? It's a puzzle that never comes together. It's just a bunch
Yeah. I bet it is. I feel that too, Paul, as an outsider. Never watched it before.
which
I'm
is a
just saying,
broken
I think
puzzle.
there's numerology in A Wrinkle in Time. I'm not talking about time travel. but-
You don't even think it's about time travel, is it? I don't know.
I bet there's time travel in the series.
I mean, in
Yeah.
A Wrinkle in Time, there is time travel too. I think, yeah. I don't know. I read it ages ago, but he's always reading like YA books. It's always so funny.
Yeah, he only reads like one. Maybe because he didn't get to read those books as a boy because his parents were murdered.
I was shocked to see my old co-worker Maggie Grace as a teenager. I barely recognized her. Maggie, how you doing?
That's you talking to your TV on your one day off of the month.
She has nothing to do, man. Shannon has nothing. Literally, she's worried about Saeed leaving, and that's it. That's her whole.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she just
come
started
on, she's
dating.
very-
She just started dating Saeed.
Yeah, I get it. He's pretty cute.
No sign of Boone.
Boone's and well, you see how much the hatch has been dug up. at
Who's
the end.
Boone?
That's your former coworker's stepbrother who she fucks.
Ooh,
Incestuous
gross. Does she?
brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh yeah. Did you have any predicaments from this week, Paul? Anything to add to your list?
I don't give a shit anymore. I
Oh,
think
you're not even past season 1 yet, man.
I don't think we're getting past these.
no, I'm gonna watch the rest of this fucking bullshit. But I'm not gonna lie about it. It's all bullshit. It's
I honestly, I think you can knock a couple of these bad boys off. Why was Hurley on Korean TV? Now we know he's rich.
That's not why he was on Korean TV. If that's why he was on Korean TV, this show is just dumb. There's no reason why you'd be on Korean TV for winning the lottery in the
Now-
United States.
Now, French woman voice message. She laid it all out for you in this episode.
No,
Yes?
she didn't. She just added. We still don't know why the radio message was these numbers. We still don't know anything. We saw the French lady, and she agreed that all that was made was the connection between French lady and the sequence of numbers and Hurley. That's it. That's all we got. And how long was the show? Like 45 minutes? That's all we got.
I'll
There's
tell you
a
exactly
connection.
how long it was because I kept checking the time on it because I had other things to do today, but instead I watched
I was
2
enthralled.
episodes.
This is one of my favorite episodes of the first season. This episode is
Seriously.
the biggest Google thing you look up when you start watching the show. Is these numbers?
I liked
man.
the previous episode more, if I'm being honest. Episode
Wow.
18.
You know, I wait. You liked the Korean couple?
Yeah, I think
episode.
that one by
think you
itself, standalone, that one has more legs than this one.
I gotta go with Paul. I agree that episode was better. This episode is it's fun. It's more fun. But it gives you a lot of things that just leave you with more questions, and to me, that's not very gratifying.
So I try to
It
give you a
angers
fun
me.
one. You don't want a fun one. I try and give you.
I think I should only
I
should only come in on the Korean couple episodes.
We got somebody else doing that, so if you want that from now on, consider it done.
Who else is a guest on this?
No. Somebody having a set person for their episodes,
Who?
not the Korean people
Our
specifically.
friend
but-
Stefan has claimed Sawyer, and he's
That's
done
it.
the
This
last.
is my last episode.
How dare we make you watch this episode?
So you talked about it being light and being a little more humorous. I genuinely got a laugh out of Hurley talking to the guy on the ladder at the hospital. That really does make me laugh every time.
That was funny. What do you think? What do you make of that, Paul? Hurley's been in this mental institution. It seems that's where he met this guy.
Oh my god, I forgot about that whole part.
This comical mental man.
That's interesting. That's a Connect 4 board. I wonder how many spots there are.
Well, 4. Oh, I like that gene.
Did we get a bell?
Yeah, Theo Salamanca's here. He's telling me, yes, I love the episode, Eric.
I'm a big fan of Lost. Ding, 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 ding.
What's that? Bob's gonna have a heart attack? Ding, 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 ding.
I'm not saying this episode was bad or anything. I enjoyed watching it. Besides just the overall higher level pain that this show is putting me through, does not get easier with this episode. It only gets worse. But by itself, like, I was entertained. I barely understood this lady. I had to turn on captions because I could not understand what she was talking about, the bean thing. No idea what she was saying.
I don't think her accent is even the most aggressive on the show.
What did she say about beans?
Those chunderhead bean scammers
She
come
goes,
to
"Oh,
town
boy.
every year.
I haven't seen a man in ages. Would you flick my bean?" Is that what she said?
That's what I thought I heard, but no, it's like this
Dude,
bean
that's fucked
compilation.
up. That's fucked up. Let's see what they had to say on 4chan about that.
You thought that's what she said, Paul.
No.
Snuck it right by those censors because nobody knew what it was back then. The bean.
No one knew. On ABC, they didn't know.
She says that my husband Sam used the numbers to guess the bean to the exact bean, and so that's you take the sequence which has 15s and 16s and take all those out, and that's just one giant number. What is that number, Paul? Without any kind of spaces in the middle, what's the total of that sum?
Oh, add it all together. I haven't done that.
Don't add it all together. Just read out the number in full without any kind of spaces or commas or anything.
What's so 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me write it down. So 4, 8,
Carry the
15,
one.
16, 23, 42.
How
It's
many?
a big
how many
number.
That's 6.
Yes,
It's,
yes, Hector.
That's 4
480
billion. 4 billion, right?
No.
Yes, Hector. Yeah, he got it.
Oh yeah,
All right.
it's 4 billion. I wonder if that'll fit. What's the max integer? Max 32-bit integer.
Yeah, Hector, what is it?
What a show.
Unsigned.
Does Hector come on the other shows? Is this
So
just
that's
my
interesting.
episode?
That number does not fit into a 32-bit unsigned integer. It's too big by
Too damn big.
a
That
few
is interesting.
million. So you would have overflow if you put that into a 32-bit unsigned integer. I wonder what the overflow amount would be. I can figure that out.
I wonder.
But why is it on the hatch?
Maybe it was a
That's-
software bug. They put this number in a 32-bit unsigned integer, and it rolled over and caused that plane to crash, whatever that fucking thing is.
Oh, you think
Well-
it was a software bug in the plane's software?
Yeah, 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 42 minus
He just goes,
Oh.
yeah.
47. So half a billion off. That's 47.
I think this might be the last episode we do.
Half a billion
That would have been
off.
insane.
Something like that. It would have turned into half a billion.
Well,
Give or take.
let's get right to some Qual's Quatch this episode. Not in it. He could have been. He could have been one of the numbers. He could have been one of the knights slaying the dragon. He could have been the accountant. He could have been the mental man, for all we know. But he's not in it.
He's not in it. You would have loved that music, though, and riding around in the H2 with Hurley.
Yeah, then that would have been very comical to see a skinny white guy getting down to that kind of music.
They definitely would be friends.
Some awful takes. I shared their obsession with the numbers. This guy is just like Paul. This was a great episode. I wish the past 15 episodes followed this formula by actually progressing the story. So many of these characters are useless. There should have been like 10 survivors, and that's it. And that's David.
I will say Paul's argument was that it didn't progress the story. It just added another pissed off giraffe, if you will.
That is what he says.
I mean, it took a baby step towards progressing the story. I mean, there's nothing really. I mean, there's a connection now between Hurley, French lady, and this number. That's it.
There's also a connection between Hurley and Locke. He owns his box factory.
I will say, this is against the actor portraying Hurley, and I feel bad saying it because I know he's a show favorite. His acting just isn't my favorite. Like, even for the character, I don't feel like him winning the lottery and being there on the island and being frustrated with the French lady. Like, I didn't take that emotional journey with him like I'm taking the emotional journey with the Korean couples. So there's this big disconnect.
We get it, man. You just want to be here for the Korean couples.
Listen,
no taken.
What do you think, Hector?
Hector, what do you think about actor Jorge Garcia when he was on The Voice?
He likes him, but we watched both episodes today.
That's good.
He hangs out with your Korean friend Daniel Day Kim on Hawaii Five-0. He is in 100.
There he is.
He's in 130 episodes.
Maybe Hurley. Maybe the actor gets better. Was this his first thing, or was it?
He was on an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Before this or after this?
Before this.
Before.
That was
one of his bigger things. He's in an episode of Tim and Eric as well. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember that. Oh, I do remember.
Bedtime stories.
He sells being a laid back, relaxed dude really well. It's just when he has to go over the top with it. In there with the French lady. Yeah, I just wasn't feeling it. It wasn't
too much. Yeah, you see what I'm saying, right, Paul? Like I feel like an asshole, but I'm being totally honest.
It's like
he's a fan favorite, he's a show favorite, and you two are the biggest assholes I've ever met in my life.
Listen, I think
you guys might be racist. I think that's.
I think you guys are self-hating Mexicans, and I can say.
What are you talking about? I think the Korean episodes are the best, and I have to read subtitles. What's racist about that?
Nothing. You're pro-Asian.
Yes.
Model minority. That's what Eric always says.
What are you talking about? This is my second time on the show, and you are slandering me.
This is your only day off.
This was my only day off. I spent it with my Theo Hector watching Lost.
Ding, ding, ding.
What's that? You want me to turn it off? Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, you want me to turn it up?
Oh, you like Hurley? Oh, I see.
He likes the
You think
actor.
he's a better actor than any actor ever made?
You think it makes sense that he's on Korean TV? Okay.
Maybe he's I don't know. I just felt like the story was, even for this being so early on, I thought, okay, this is a bit much. Maybe
he's not a great actor in comparison to someone like John Locke, Terry O'Quinn, or something. Yeah, I mean,
it's like what was weird about it is like Hurley doesn't seem like the guy to get angry. He would get sad, but he got angry at the French lady at that moment. It just seemed like it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
He would have just broken down. But instead, he got angry, which was weird.
But he breaks down after she gives him that validation.
Yeah, but he got angry first. It was just, I don't know. Maybe it'll fit later. But again, this is a puzzle that's not going to be put together, is my fear. It's just a bunch of
Not
pieces.
tonight. I'll tell you that.
What do you mean not tonight? What's going to happen?
You're not.
Well, we have 500 million pieces, according to Paul.
I mean,
we don't have that many integers. So
right now, you guys are just like Claire. You're looking at this and go, what the hell am I looking at here?
What the hell?
It's a cage for bull.
If they take Hurley's story at this point, which is the crib upside down, and they turn it over on its head, I might be happy.
Oh, voila! Big dinosaur bones for legs.
It's a good.
There's no way
Barney
that's-
Rubble helped you build it.
He doesn't have a level. There's no way that's even. And also, you're not gonna be able to get a crib even in the sand anyway. I mean,
Yeah, that baby's gonna come up with all kinds of splinters and shit.
Paul also thinks the baby is a demon too. So
I bet there's something going on.
specifically the Antichrist. I'm sorry.
Claire's baby's probably Antichrist. But again, that's just another.
What's that, Theo Hector? You agree?
He agrees.
It could all be MacGuffins. They're all MacGuffins. Who knows what they are? It's anything.
J.J. Abrams notorious for MacGuffins. We'll say that.
Hey, I saw one of my favorite writers, Paul Dini's name pop up in the credits. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
David Fury writes a bunch of stuff, right? Or am I crazy?
On what?
Doesn't the writer David Fury, isn't he a big TV writer or even movie writer now at this point? I'm not sure.
Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised. Most people I think that were in this writer's room ended up doing stuff.
He mostly wrote for mid-2000s TV shows like 24 and Angel, so that's what I'm thinking.
What I was gonna say in correlation with the acting and blah 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 per story per character. Back in 2000 whatever, whenever this was out, I could see this being still very pinnacle, fucking awesome weeknight television, totally. But now we have so much more intense content with really incredible, movie actors are doing TV now. So
look, I'd rather be watching The Bear. Sure.
Yeah, that's my. I think so. To take a few steps back, I think I'm unfairly using a barometer that doesn't really have a place here. I should be watching it in the time that it came out, much like horror movies now aren't scary that came out in the early 1900s.
I'd argue it's better than anything on ABC weeknight television. Probably ABC period right now.
Yeah, but if you try to compare this to the new Westworld, where
Westworld,
it doesn't even. It's not even in the same universe. The Westworld, the mysteries and the plot lines are extremely interesting. They're all connecting. Nothing is just fraying off in the wind.
I would make the argument that Westworld is directly correlated to this in the fact that it's a bunch of stuff, and I don't think they know where it's going at all.
No. Listen, we could sit here all night and talk about why an HBO show is better than an ABC show. The Sopranos was also on at the same time as Lost. There's a difference in quality of television when you don't have commercials and you're free to do whatever you want.
Yeah, right. That's true.
The Sopranos is better than 24, which is one of the numbers.
False predictions.
What?
Go ahead, Eric.
Oh, I think. Admittedly, I need to have more fun with it, and I did have more fun with the Hurley episode. I was laughing and kind of when they would introduce another loose end, I would just be like, "Oh my god, what is going on? This is fun. This is ridiculous, but it's fun." But
I wanted some fried chicken. That chicken looked good.
Yeah, after an episode with some really top class acting and I think a little bit more tighter writing than this episode.
Fair enough.
Here's some chicken to chew on. Paul's prediction. I think this whole thing is the result of a military industrial complex experiment gone wrong.
What?
All right.
You got
would
that
explain the polar
hatch.
bear.
You got the number on the radio transmission. The first people to hear it was the Salamanca agrees with me. They were testing nukes off of an island. Maybe they were doing some other, time travel experiments.
I know you didn't. I don't know if you heard through that thick accent, Paul, but she was talking about how the husband was in the military and.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is a military experiment gone wrong, and that's what they're going to uncover in that hatch.
Great prediction.
Wow, very, very interesting, Paul. I must say.
Chew on that chicken.
I like how she puts it. She knew her husband killed himself because of his relationship with these numbers, and his partner in the military, who was also kind of intermixed with it. She heard his name after a while and goes, "Oh, how's he doing?" Like, oh, your husband fucking killed himself. How do you think he's doing? The numbers
It's
are
crazy.
cursed, lady. Come to terms with it.
You're still living out here in the middle of damn nowhere.
You're
Yeah,
not
why
getting
don't
your
you
leg
move?
back.
Final thoughts, Paul. We got Eric. Maybe we shouldn't have had Eric watch the Korean episode. Man, it was a big mistake. It's starting to feel like.
I think it made it more interesting. We had a lot more to talk about.
That's a good point, Paul. What,
Final thoughts. Thank you, Eric, for coming on the show.
Hey,
It's no problem. It's no
It's always
problem
great
at all.
having you here. I got a little frustrated this time, and it's just
okay.
the sign of the times right now. It's getting to everybody. It's getting to me. It was 110 degrees or some bullshit today. It was hot. I had to water the grass. I mean, so it wouldn't die. Then I had a this fucking show is not. It's not moving fast enough. Is a problem. We're at episode 18. There's 18 episodes.
Oh, yeah,
I'll just keep ranting until you cut me off. I'm gonna keep.
Well, hey, no. Final prediction, Paul. Next week's episode is called Deus Ex Machina. Whose episode is that going to be about?
Oh Jesus, Ex Machina. Are they gonna have an AI robot on this shit? Like, there's gonna be a.
I think it's a literary term, Paul.
This existed before AI was conceived.
Now that was a great movie, Ex Machina. Have y'all seen that?
All right. Thank you very much. It's been We All Everybody. Eric, thank you. We'll see you at the next Korean episode.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.